Hi, welcome to Mastering Your Alignment, all about the power of the neutral pelvis. Now, if you haven't gone through my other videos where I go over the supine position and the prone position, I highly recommend hitting that link up there to take you to those videos. Today, we're going to go over all fours. This is a very common position in Pilates workouts. And what's happening is you're actually working against more of gravity versus the prone position where all of your body is down on the mat. Now, only a portion of your body is on the mat, your hands and your knees and your feet. So we're working into the wrist joint, we're working into the shoulder joint, which are very sensitive areas on many of us. So it means a lot of back stability, a lot of core power. So we're gonna go over that today. We got it, we can do this. Hi, my name's Gretchen, founder of Balance to the Core. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell next to it to get notified whenever I have a new video, because I am here every week. So remember, I need you to do this with me, because when you can hear my cues and actually feel it in your body, that's where your body's gonna really learn this. And then once you learn it, you never unlearn it. So go ahead, grab your mat, and let's do this. Okay, so when you're on all fours, you want your hands to be underneath your shoulders and your knees to be underneath your hips. What does that mean? Because I'm sure you hear every Pilates instructor tell you that. So really what you're looking for is your thumbs to almost be lined up with your armpits, okay? And then your middle fingers to be directly forward. You want to widen your hands, so widen your fingers so they're nice and straight and they're nice and wide, so you have more of a base of support underneath you. Then you have your knees, which are directly underneath your hip bones, okay? And then your shins are parallel with one another with your feet down. Your upper body, I want you to soften your elbows and sort of feel as if you're pulling your elbows in towards each other. Play with that for a second. See what that feels like. When they sort of pull in towards one another, you're gonna feel back muscles engaged, and that's what we're trying to get into. I wanna get you out of the rotator cuff and out of the wrists, okay? So the more wide your hands can be, and the more soft and inward your elbows can be, the more you can support yourself. Now, what I want you to do is find your neutral pelvis here. It's a little bit harder, but you can sort of palpate a little bit. So you want the pubic bone and the hip bones to be in the same plane. So you're actually feeling as if your tailbone is reaching away from you to the opposite side of the wall. We don't want it tucked or tipped either way. Okay, so try to find that flatness. So if I had like a bowl of soup right in your low back, it's not going to tilt either way. In opposition, you have the crown of your head. So you can place your hand on your head here and actually feel yourself pushing into your hand from your spine. And you'll notice that's going to engage your belly muscles, okay? So let's just breathe in this position right now. Take an inhale through the nose, widen those shoulders, or widen those ribs, sorry. And then on your exhale, you're just going to draw the belly and the ribs in without changing the shape of the spine. You just sort of feel your tailbone and head reaching long. Try that again. Inhale, exhale. Maybe to get in a little bit more of that exhale, can you push your feet and your shins into the ground? Oh yeah, do you feel that? That's your belly. All right, now take an inhale, lift those toes up. Feel length in your spine, shoulders down, and then exhale, push the shins and feet in, and let the belly draw to the spine, the ribs draw to the spine, the shoulders pull down, the head reach long, the tail reach long. You feel all of that working? Elbows in towards one another, and inhale, release. Exhale, belly, ribs. Reach your sacrum and tailbone long. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now on the last bit of that exhale, let's start to draw the belly up to the sky. Notice when you start to draw that belly up into your spine, up to the sky, your head follows, your spine follows, and you have just sort of this even curve in your spine. You have equal weight on all 4 points. So take an inhale into your ribs here, into your upper back. And then exhale, draw the belly in, the ribs in, and start to let that tail start to flatten to find your neutral spine. Good. And then as you inhale, we're just going to let the sort of ribs flare open a little bit. but your belly stays scooped. Your belly stays engaged, but those ribs have a little mobility there. Almost like, remember when you're on prone, you were pushing that ball forward? Same idea, push that ball forward with your chest. Good. And then we come to center on your exhale. Keep pushing your feet and shins into the ground as you scoop. Try not to let your shoulders lift to your ears. We're just making the spine do this. Inhale there. Now exhale, can you find your neutral? Find neutral, the natural curves of your spine. Find that neutral pelvis. And then maybe just inhale, push your chest forward, but try to keep your pelvis where it is. Play with that. Pelvis stays where it is, opening the chest. It's a little bit more difficult to find, right? All right, go ahead, find neutral spine. So now what I want you to do is take your right arm forward. All right, now try to keep equal weight here. And then can you float that arm up without changing anything in your spine? A lot more core power, right? Lower it back down, try the other side. All right, find your neutral, take an inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly scoop, ribs in, shoulder down as you lift. You should feel super strong. Good, drop it down. Okay, now let's try reaching your right leg. Okay, now soften those elbows, elbow to elbow, shoulder down. Take an inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly button in, ribs in, and then can you lift that leg as you reach it long, just like you did in the prone day? You're reaching it long as you lift it. Now notice, if you start to lift too high, do you feel your low back start to engage too much, where maybe you're changing the shape of it a little bit? It can be so small, but that little smallness, you're changing neutral pelvis. So try to keep neutral, and this really helps when you're next to a mirror. You can really see it. And then lower it down on an inhale. Exhale, belly, ribs, shoulders down, elbows in towards one another. Good, and then lower it down. It's a lot of work stability-wise, okay? So we really want to make sure we don't shift into our pelvis, shift into that side. We got to really hold the squareness. Take an inhale, exhale, reach it as you lift it. Now your tail is reaching one way, your head in the other. Good, try that. Now can you float the opposite arm up? I know I'm adding here, but see the challenge of that? What I often see is just that kind of people just doing it haphazardly, but when you really do it, it is so much work to keep the neutral. Good, roll it up. Keeping the neutral pelvis as you're doing it. That shifting from side to side. So like if you lift too high, what tends to happen is you shift into a side too, so then your pelvis is tilted, right? Or if you lift too high, your pelvis has tilted anteriorly. So we want to really try to keep it neutral. And this is where when I said the mirror helps, because it's sometimes hard to feel when we don't have anything supporting to feel against it, okay? But the more that you can maintain neutral pelvis, that means the more core power you're using, and then the less you're going to feel on your wrists, the less you're going to feel on your shoulders. You're going to actually feel your back and belly working a lot more than being on your wrists. So again, it just takes practice. It just takes consistency and just sort of like kind of fine tuning, you know, and it doesn't have to be perfect every time. It really doesn't. Like as I'm going through the details, I just want you to see the details. But like if you're tilting a little bit here and there, that's going to happen. You want to allow the body to move naturally. You don't want to be so static and rigid and not give it the freedom to move, because sometimes what we can do is sort of brace too much and then it becomes too much. It's just really finding that balance of sort of effort and ease. And it just takes practice to feel that, to know when you've hit that point, okay? So just keep practicing, just keep doing it, and I promise you're gonna get better at it, okay? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Take care.
Are you looking for more accountability or consistency in your workouts? Or maybe you'd like to be part of a community who also loves Pilates? If so, come join my live online classes. More information and signups at balancetothecore.com.